Hey writers, Lee Jessup here, career coach for emerging and professional screenwriters. I wanted to record this video to address the question of age. It's a question that comes up a lot. I talk to a lot of writers as a career coach and also as an educator with the David Lynch grad program for cinematic studies, and often hear the, am I too old? Where should I fall because of my age? How is that going to prohibit my ability for success? Is it, the thing that will completely undo the career that I want to have? So I think it's really important to talk about because I know that a lot of writers are concerned about it. There's still, a lot of stories out there about what age writers are or should be. I've been working in this industry for 30 years. I've been working one-on-one with writers for nearly 15 years. So I just wanted to share my insights and my thoughts on this because I think it's a complex but important thing to talk about, especially because it's something that concerns writers across the board. I often will receive emails from writers who are introducing themselves to me for the first time, and they will go on record saying, let me tell you the first and perhaps most important thing about me. Here is my age. Clearly, there's a concern. I myself, no spring chicken, just saying and putting it out there. So I wanted to speak from my experience and my perspective on the industry, which here goes. Like I said, I've been working one-on-one with writers for the last 15 years as a consultant before working in development and working in the industry at large. In my experience working with writers, the majority of writers that I work with who have gone on to build writing careers to break in have done so in their 30s, 40s, and some in their 50s and even in their 60s. So I generally don't think that age is the one determining factor to your screenwriting success, especially on the feature side. I find that if the work is great on the page, I've never heard anybody say, oh, I read the script, I loved it, but I'm not going to do anything because the writer is older. The writer's in their 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever it is. I think that if the writing itself is great, if the script is great, age is not going to stand in the way of that. I think if the script is not great, if the script feels out of touch or out of step or not relevant for today's movie-going audience, I think it's very easy to dismiss it and say, well, the writer's older, so maybe they're, out of touch a little bit. But at the end of the day, what somebody sees from you, especially on the feature front, is going to be your screenplay first, and then they will get to know you, the person, and make whatever decisions and judgments they're going to make. Like I said, I do believe that especially in film, if a script is truly great, it will find a home. The worst case scenario for an older or not an older writer who wrote a truly great screenplay is that a producer may say, we want to bring in a younger writer for rewrites, or we're going to purchase the material, but then bring in a younger writer. So that is something that you have to consider as a possibility, but that is the truth for anything that is picked up in the industry where a different, younger, older writer can be brought in if producers and the director think that it's the right thing. I do think that there's more ageism, for lack of better words, on the TV side, more age prejudice, because that is a world in which you work your way up as a TV writer who goes to work in writers' rooms and build their career rising through the ranks. That model favors the younger writer because the younger writer is going to have more years to work their way up. Support staff on TV, for example, is almost exclusively on the younger side. I will not put an age limit on it because I certainly know people in their 20s, 30s, 40s that have been in support staff for TV show. Usually, if you're in your 40s, you will have had some experience on support staff prior to getting into your room. So that's where a younger person is favored, also because a room can demand long hours, many hours of sitting and pitching and thinking on your toes and pitching ideas and writing over weekends and going to set, and that may favor the younger writer. So I think with that in mind, you have to consider, yes, inevitably, there is some ageism in Hollywood. I think it's also, there's the positive of ageism or the age experience, which is that as a person who's lived more life, I think that you will bring that to the page with more authenticity than would a younger writer who has not gained that life experience. So I do think there is benefit to age and lived experience, and we're in a time in the industry where we're really favoring that lived experience, and we're looking for that. The flip side of what I just told you, especially on the TV front, is that I've worked with younger writers before who may be support staff in a writer's room who have come in and told me, listen, I work in a great room, I have a great showrunner, but nobody's going to staff me because I get the complaint of like, well, you went to film school, you moved to LA, you got a job, you've been working ever since, you've not really lived life. So I think it's really important to emphasize and appreciate the experience that lived experience gives you as a writer that you can bring to the table. My advice is to never let your age walk in the room in front of you. Let the writing do the talking, and pave your career from there. Don't apologize for your age. Don't explain your age. If your writing is great, especially on the feature side, I think that you will be able to find some interest, some appetite, some traction. The bigger question is, will you stay with a project for the life of a project? Will other younger writers be brought in if there's a there's a feeling that we need a relevancy push or relevancy pass on the script, something like that. But again, I've never seen anybody, especially on the feature side, be told like producers are not going to pick up a script based on age. I think you're much more at risk of that with a manager or an agent who may look at you and say, okay, you're older. What is the runway, right? How many scripts more are you going to write? Really? Are you ready to retire? Are you ready to be done? If they get a sense like, well, it's, the writer's 2, 3, 4, 5 years from retirement or kind of retired or has a very busy retirement life and therefore less time to write. I think that there becomes a bigger question because ultimately a representative will understand that a career is going to be built over many scripts and many years. And if they don't feel that you have that runway, I think that is a conversation that you should be aware of. But I think first and foremost, it is about great work on the page. And then how are you getting it out there and who are you getting it out to in order to give yourself the best chance for success? All right, you guys, I hope you found this helpful. If you do, please subscribe, stay productive, and hopefully we'll find many reasons to connect again soon. Bye.